This summer in Captain America: Civil War, 19-year-old Tom Holland will don the iconic webbed underoos of our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, making him the third actor to do so since Sam Raimi's 2002 hit. But did you know Spidey's been swinging around Hollywood for over 30 years?
Let's take a look at the complicated history of the Spider-Man movie that never got made, presented by Wendy's Jalapeno Fresco Spicy Chicken.
In the mid-1980s, superhero movies weren't at all the proven formula for printing money that they are now. The first two Superman movies had been hits, but the third bombed so hard, so big studios were worried about throwing money at any more comic book adaptations involving tights and capes. Briefly, cult cinema auteur Roger Corman, who'd later make the hilariously awful Fantastic Four movie, had the rights to produce a Spider-Man feature film, but never got it off the ground. His option expired in 1985, and producers Menahem Golan and Yoram Globus of Cannon Films jumped on the opportunity. Cannon was infamous for scooping up cheap scripts and fast-tracking low-budget productions, churning out 43 feature films in a single year. Apparently, Golan and Globus weren't as familiar with the character as Spider-Man as we are, and they were under the assumption that he was less like Superman and more like the Wolfman. You know, like a monster. For a director, Cannon Films went to Tobe Hooper of Texas Chainsaw Massacre fame and hired Outer Limits creator Leslie Stevens to pen a script that revolved around an evil scientist intentionally subjecting a young employee named Peter Parker to radiation, mutating him into a hairy 8-armed man-spider who then did battle with a basement full of other horrible mutations. What? Understandably, Stan Lee balked at this butchering of his creation and pushed for a new script, which eventually took shape in the hands of horror movie veteran Ted Newsom and Joseph Brancato, whose later claims to fame would be credits on Terminator 3 and Catwoman. Yeah, this Catwoman. Tobe Hooper was eventually replaced by Joseph Zito, director of such Chuck Norris classics as Invasion USA and Missing in Action. The project gradually began to resemble a Spider-Man adaptation. Allegedly, up-and-coming star Tom Cruise was considered for Peter Parker, and Bob Hoskins was eyed to play his mentor turned villain, Otto Octavius, aka Dr. Octopus. Hollywood icons Lauren Bacall and Katharine Hepburn were apparently considered for Aunt May, and Stan Lee himself expressed interest in playing J. Jonah Jameson. Unfortunately, the ballooning cost of the other canon films, Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, and Masters of the Universe, resulted in Spider-Man's budget getting slashed to under $10 million, which led to a number of people abandoning the project and it sinking into development hell. Luckily for Spider-Man fans everywhere, the film never actually came to be, although we did get this incredibly bizarre teaser footage of an actual insect spider cut together with vague, jumpy shots of a guy in Spider-Man spandex leaping in the air over blurry footage of New York City. The Spider-Man as an actual man-spider angle did actually make its way to the second season of the animated Spider-Man cartoon in the 90s, but theatergoers were ultimately spared from this almost certainly terrifying live-action nightmare. So whether you love Spidey's costume and naive teenage goofiness in Captain America: Civil War, or the slightly more serious take that the big-budget Spider-Man movies took before that, rest assured knowing that at one point in history, the movie version Spider-Man was a whole lot weirder and probably a whole lot worse. So what's your favorite cinematic take on Spider-Man? Would you have watched a Man-Spider film, or are you happy with him sticking to his roots and working with the Avengers instead? Let us know in the comments, and remember, with great comic book characters comes great responsibility. For all things Spider-Man, keep it locked to IGN.